fantastic first set. Thank you very much indeed,
thank you.
Ruzz and band. So let's start off by, please, would you go ahead and introduce us to the band?
Okay, so after that very fun drum solo, I think we should start with Mike. So we got Mike Hoddinott on drums.
Hi.
On double bass, we've got Joe Allen. Trumpet, we've got Paul Field. Tenor saxophone, Rachel Hutchinson. Froome Zone. And on Barry tonight, we've got Sean McBride.
Very good evening to all of you, and welcome to everybody in the land of Facebook as you're watching Ruzz Guitars Blues Revue. Now, let's just find out a little bit about you, the band, and what you do. Let's start off with some influences. I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to talk to you about influences and also what you listen to, because often they can be very, very different things. So, first of all, what are your influences?
So my biggest influences, like especially for that last instrument, is people like Brian Setzer. Blues-wise, it's got to be Jimmy Vaughan.
Yeah.
I love Wilco Johnson. For a lot of the kind of soul stuff, I love Steve Cropper. It's just all this kind of old blues and kind of Americana guys, blues, country, rockabilly kind of players.
And quite a variety of different styles. I mean, you know, talking about people like Brian Setzer and Wilco Johnson, who are very, very different styles and also different tone. I'm going to talk to you about tone in a moment when we kind of get onto that bit. So, separating that out, what do you listen to?
It's pretty much just, this is similar stuff to those influences, really. It's there's loads of people that, like I was saying to you earlier, like my friend Paul Bagat from Canada. He's a big influence, and I'm constantly listening to his stuff and stealing what I can. There's a lot of more bands with the horn section. So there's a band called Big Bad Voodoo Daddy that I've been listening to quite a bit recently.
Okay.
Another American band that it's great fun music. So it's kind of it's one of the influences for where I'm trying to go with the horn section side of this band.
I was going to say, because that's something which is fresh for
fairly fresh, I mean, we haven't done too much with it.
Yeah.
We had the first gig 2 years ago, and we've just been doing a couple of festivals and the odd gig in Bristol here and there as a more of a special night type gig. But yeah, it's still fairly fresh and.
Okay. Now, what influences your writing? Now, bearing in mind, you know, the kind of stuff that you do, which it's a well-trodden path.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that have done it. What influences you when you're sitting down thinking, okay, I'm going to write a song? A
lot of the time, it's more the music comes first to me. So there'll be like an idea of a song that we might not have yet. So on this recent album we did, a lot of the early sessions were just me, Joe, and Mike. Getting into the studio and going, I got an idea for this kind of thing, so we'd work out something around that, and then I'd write lyrics at a later date. Sean helped with putting the horns together for all the songs, and a lot of the time for instrumental writing, it's usually a riff will come to me, or I'll hear something that I think, ooh, I like that. There's something within that I might nick and kind of embellish. So it's like the first instrument, The Heist. It was I was watching a Brian Setzer DVD, and he just did this riff, and he just left that hanging. I went, ooh, I'm having that. So I just built
borrowing it.
Borrowing it. Permanent loan.
Okay, I said I'd talk a little bit about tone, because there's a lot talked about it. So your setup, clearly you use Gretsch, and we'll talk a little bit about Gretsch and the endorsement with Gretsch in a moment. So what else do you have? You have a Gretsch guitar. What's your amp?
This is brand new for me. I just got it on a Wednesday. This is a Fender Supersonic 22.
Okay.
I'm just going straight into it now.
Valve?
All valve, of course. And going between the, as they call it, the burn channel and the clean channel, depending on what song I'm doing. And I'm loving it.
Fantastic. I mean, it's a great sound, but obviously, tone comes from the player.
That's what they say. I try.
Let's talk a little bit about the endorsement, because that's quite a nice situation for you to be in.
Very nice,
having provided
very surreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that all came about.
So as I said, one of my favourite guitarists from Canada, Paul Bagat, he was coming over to Europe with his band, Cousin Harley, and there was a guy in Breskens in Holland that loved Cousin Harley, had been booking him for a couple of years. discovered the rockabilly band that I was playing in and started talking to us. And then when he found out that I was a big fan of Cousin Harley, they put together this street party so that they could have both bands on the same billing, so that I could go over and work with those guys for the evening. And I got jamming with Paul. They invited me up to sit in with them for a song and got chatting. And it kind of the question was approached. A bass player from the band I was in kind of asked him, because I didn't want to seem too forward and be one of those kind of guys. Hey, so you're with Gretsch. How do can you get me in? I don't like that.
Yes.
I don't like being like that. But the bass player did mention it, and Paul said, no, send me an email of links and stuff, and he'll pass it on to Joe Carlucci, who's one of the main guys in Gretsch.
Yeah.
And that was about 6 years ago. And then I started this band and just kept booking up loads of gigs and pushing it. And we recorded the first little kind of demo CD in 2015. And then about a year later, I just thought, I'm going to email Joe again and just say that, hi, I'm Ruzz. Paul Bagat's mentioned me to you. I was wondering if you're interested at all in an endorsement. And within 3 days, he'd replied. We'd had a phone call and done.
Fantastic.
So very surreal and a dream come true, really. But
excellent.
Kind of a dream that I didn't think would come true for another 20 years. It was my end goal rather than a little stepping stone. That was what I was working towards, and managed to get it fairly early. So I had to have a sit down and kind of rethink my steps, because I'd already got what I was aiming for. So I need to think, well, where am I going now?
Yep.
But yeah, very surreal.
Well, I mean, beautiful classic guitars.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly on the rock and roll circuit. I mean,
Yeah,
it is one of the names.
Oh yeah,
out
big
there,
big
and
time.
it's a great name. That's a great brand, great
Yeah,
guitars. Right, let's move on a little bit to advice for younger players coming in. Obviously, the bands that we have coming on here, we have a very wide variety of bands coming on here, people wanting to try and make a career out of music. Somebody coming into it for the first time, what sort of advice would you give them?
First off, you need to get out there, because nothing's going to come to you if you're staying at home and only playing once a month.
Yeah.
So you need to get out there gigging very regularly. Get as much footage and audio recordings and stuff online as possible. You need to make it as easy with nowadays with the internet and social media and stuff. It's very easy for people to find you if you set yourself up right. So I made sure that we're very easy to find on Google. Constantly posting stuff up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. YouTube's flooded with videos. Just try and make it as easy as possible for people to find you. And just really, it's just get out there and do your own thing, and eventually it will start to happen for you.
So basically, to be out there,
you just got to be out there, yeah.
And just push yourself, gig as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain genres that it's going to be a bit harder to do, but luckily we're kind of blues stuff or rock and roll stuff. There are a lot of pubs and local pubs and stuff that will book it because it's fun, kind of dancing party music that the regular average Joe Punter that isn't a musician can still appreciate and enjoy on a Saturday night. So it's easy for blues bands to get out there. And you've got that nostalgia thing as well, which
exactly,
I think
is a great thing, and being able to drive that forwards
so
that people are still interested in it.
Oh, yeah. And again, it's just do your own thing. Don't try and copy any other bands.
Yeah.
Take influences from your heroes and stuff, but when there's other local bands around, try and have something that makes you stand out a bit more.
Well, this nicely takes us towards gigs. So talk to us about a couple of gigs that you've done, people that you've supported, people that you've played with.
So people who supported, I get this is from sheer kind of, I'm just going to ask kind of deals. So in September 2016, one of my favourite guitarists, Kirk Fletcher, who used to work with one of my favourite bands, Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yes,
he was coming to Bristol,
yeah.
And I'd already done a couple of shows at the Tunnels, the venue he was playing at, and not long done the first big band gig there. So I was kind of on pretty good terms with the owner and a lot of the promoters, and so I just emailed over and texted over and said, "Who's running this gig? Can I get on it?" And they passed me the details for the guy, and they said yes. So I got that from just going, please. The Blockheads, we opened for the Blockheads as in Ian Joy and the Blockheads.
Okay.
Opened for them at the end of 2016.
Yeah.
Just after we released our last album.
Okay.
And again, that was just emailing over and sending as much material as possible over. I've been fortunate enough to work with Darl Hyam, who's worked with Melda May and Jeff Beck and all those kind of people. Bill Kirchin, we opened for him a couple of years back. I'm trying to remember now.
Gigs. So talk about gigs that you've got coming up. What have you got? Where can people come and see you?
Well, we're actually, the next kind of main local one that we're really pushing is at the Royal Oak in Bath. We're going to be hosting a kind of album release night there. So the new album's coming out at the start of November, and a couple of weeks after that, we're putting on a bit of a party night at the Royal Oak.
Yep.
Free entry, so there's no excuse.
And an opportunity to buy the new album, which we'll talk to you about in a moment.
Cool, yeah.
So you've got those coming up, and much on for 2019 at the moment?
At the moment, yeah, we're kind of working on getting back out to America. Been in talks with Gretsch about small passes for the NAMM show, and that looks like that's going ahead.
Fantastic.
Got a few people working on some gigs out there. Hoping that Paul's coming over with us to have some fun with a couple of gigs. When I was talking about while we were recording the last album, he was going, well, I got some friends over there we haven't seen for a while. If you want me to come and sit in, and so definitely, yeah, hell yeah.
A good way of getting it. Let's talk about the well. First of all, your last album. So we have 2 albums here. There's 3 in total, but there's 2 available you can still buy. Ruzz Guitar Blues Revue Burnout is one. I'm just holding that up here. Hopefully we're getting it into camera. And the new album, which is for the release, which is The Heist, where you've heard a couple of tracks already from that, which again is sounding great, fresh.
Thank you.
Very exciting. So where can people can get these?
So they can order them from thebluesreview.com.
Yeah.
The new album will soon be available through the label's website, Rhythm Bomb Records. And they'll be available on iTunes and Amazon and Google and all those kind of places as well, digitally. The first CD is available as a digital download.
Yep.
But yeah, it'll be online.
And also, you've got them up on your site so that people can actually listen and go,
yeah,
that's fantastic, I need that album. Right, so the new album is The Heist, and I shall again give that a little bit of a plug there. Finally, we talked a little bit about social media. Where are you? Where can we find you on the internet?
We're on Facebook, under Ruzz Guitars Blues Review.
Yep.
On Twitter under Ruzz Guitar. Ruzz Guitar on Instagram as well. That's the main 3 that I kind of push.
Fantastic.
So yeah, easy to find. I'm always posting stuff on there, so if you don't mind being bombarded.
Perfect, that's what we want. Right, I'm going to let you get on with your second set.
Cool.
Thank you very much indeed. I
Thank
shall
you.
catch up with you right at the end, but enjoy.
Thank you.